Hello, hello, hello. Hi, Nadine.
Hey, Jonathan.
How are you?
I'm good. It's July.
It's July.
It's hot.
It's too hot.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm having a little bit of issues with the whole heat thing. So we'll
You have
get
a lot
through
of
it.
company. You have a lot of company. It's
I know, I
okay.
know. So welcome everyone to another Askable Adults Live, the show where we talk about community, sex ed, and LGBTQ plus services. Because although June was Pride Month, and it's it's finished, we still have a lot of things to say.
We
So
have a lot of things to be proud of.
exactly, and Pride is never ending, like we've been saying, but also we kind of want to talk about services that are available in our community for LGBTQ plus folks. But before actually starting with the conversation, we kind of want to do our usual acknowledgments and recognitions, and that is that Black Lives Matter today and always, and also let her run. And what I mean by that is, of course, I don't know if how many folks have been seeing the news or have been in social media pretty much, but there's been some controversy with some black athletes, like for example, Sha'Carri Richardson, which is going to be suspended, although she owned her actions by, for example, having used marijuana in the past before a race. But although there are many people saying, oh, she knew the rules, etc. Her case is a very interesting case, but also it's not only her that is
Right.
in the spotlight. Christine Momba and Beatrice Masilingi, two Namibian cisgender women, were not eligible to run because of their natural high testosterone levels, which is something similar to what happened in 2019 to Caster Semenya, a South African woman, cisgender woman. And it's interesting because now the athletes have been now they have to undergo all these medical treatments to
Suppress their hormones.
suppose exactly their natural hormone level. That's not something that they are doing with white and male or cisgender male athletes. So that's kind of interesting. And some people, for example, just to put it out there, some people say, "Oh, Michael Phelps was this awesome athlete, but Michael Phelps had some genetic advantages, longer, disproportionately longer white span, even a lower acidic. Ah, I forgot.
Lactic acid.
Sorry.
Lactic acid. Lactic acid.
Yes, which actually helps him not to get fatigue
Quickly.
as frequently as others. So he has some advantages that help him to win and to be the great athlete that he is. But then we ban, we suspend, we disqualify other folks, especially Black women, from competing because their bodies are just doing something normal for them. Another thing that is happening is that the amazing Simone Biles, which is the I think I don't remember how many gold medals she
A
has.
lot.
Well, she has
lot.
a lot, and she's doing what athletes do. She's pushing herself to the next level, but she's receiving lower scores because
she's too good.
She's too good. So it's like, isn't that what the sports is all about? And of course, the banning of natural hair swimming caps because the Olympics and the different sports federations don't recognize that what natural hair looks like, and what natural hair, the cares that are involved in natural hair. So many things are happening, and if this is not a reason to again say that Black Lives Matter, then come on, we've been here way too many.
Black Lives Matter. Let them run. Let them swim. Let them move.
Let them be themselves. Their amazing, strong selves.
Yeah.
So, having taken that out of the system, hi. So my name is Jonathan Rodriguez. I use he, him, and él pronouns, and I'm the Youth and Health Resource Center coordinator for Berks Matters. And with me.
And my name is Nadine, and I use they and their pronouns, and I am the community liaison with Berks Teens Matter. And we have an amazing guest today, correct?
Yes. If folks that are watching, if you have watched other or past lives, you probably have heard us and our guests talking about, this amazing place where they support teens and adults alike to find support, to find services, to find connections. So to talk about this super awesome place, we want to welcome the great, the unique, the training operations coordinator, Tasha Santiago from the LGBT Center of Greater Reading. Hi, Tasha.
Hey, welcome, Tasha.
Hi, friends.
How are you, Tasha?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Good. Thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you so much for being here tonight.
So, Tasha, tell us a little bit about you. You've been part of this community for many years, but you've also
I was just gonna say, and part of the center for, as I understand it, maybe 5 years or so, which is from its earliest days, right?
Yeah, so since the inception, I was wondering, I was like, are you asking me how long I've been gay for, or a long time? But I won't give you my age, I promise. No, I've been involved with the center since its inception as a volunteer. So I'm pretty proud that I've grown with the organization and as a volunteer. So
Oh, sorry.
But what drew you to the center, Tasha?
So there's a lot of places where I can be safe and be me. But what drew me specifically to the LGBT Center of Greater Reading was the fact that not only did they hear my voice, but they really listened. And I over the years got to witness a lot of other voices be heard. And so not too many places do that. They hear you, but the center really listens, and they really seek to get that feedback and get that input and be better.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. And I've been at the center a couple of times as a facilitator or just as a participant, which has been great. And really, the center offers a lot of an atmosphere, but also a sense of connection with other folks from the community, and it's a really welcoming place, especially for not only people from the community, but people who are new to the community, the Reading community, which it's amazing, and I think is so important Because I think this is a conversation that Nadine and I have had a couple of times. The importance of for a newcomer or a new person in our community to find support and finding someone that will say, we see you, we accept you, come and hang out with us. That's, I think, the center really provides that.
Thank you. Yeah, I felt the same.
Tasha, you had mentioned, like, you're not going to say how many years. I'm not going to say how many years I have either. But as far as you know, from your own experience, and compared to me, you're relatively young, but from your own experience, before the LGBT Center existed, how and where did LGBT folks gather together locally, and you and your peers and young adults, where did they gather before the center existed?
Gotcha. Well, not too many places. There weren't too many groups that I can find. I probably wasn't old enough to head out to some of the local bars. We didn't have a gay club at the time, so they would have like gay nights. But I wasn't old enough to attend, so that wasn't really a place for me until I turned 21. We had Rainbow Star for a little while there, and then it dissipated. So there weren't really too many places, too many ways that I can really meet LGBT folks like myself. In college, if you're walking down a hallway and you hear a mention of the word partner, or you see some of the subtle signs, you're like, oh my gosh, that looks gay, let's be friends, and you kind of just on your own and make those connections. So until then, I really didn't personally have a space, or feel that I have a space.
I think that's so important, because I think a lot of the gay culture is based on, for example, bars, and understandably so, because it's, for many years, it was a safe place for adults to go to and be with other people that were like them, etc. At some point, there was that division between the gay and lesbian bars, and some bars that will bring everyone together. But I think there's a lack of teen friendly and teen safe places for teens to hang out. I think it would have been a little bit more difficult to have those spaces, let's say 30 years ago, or 40 years ago and more. But now we are in a moment in our existence that not only that we know that it's needed, but also we can have it hosted, create them, etc. So thank you so much for being part of that.
Yeah, it's a huge leap for the community.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
So you were involved in the center. You participated in the center before becoming a trainer?
Oh yeah, way before. That was very recent. April 1st was my first day. I almost didn't believe it. I thought they were joking, but they were not. I'm still here, so that's good. But so that is a fairly new role for me. I helped any way I can. I really enjoy doing the back end of stuff, like the manuals. The really tedious work was my favorite, and I think that won the hearts of Michelle, maybe. Because for so long it was really just a party of one, and we're really working to grow the employee base, the staff base, the volunteer base, facilitators, because it's so necessary, especially to have people from the community working with the community. I feel is astronomical. It's important, that representation, everywhere is important.
Yeah.
So the LGBT Center has 2 employees now. Is that right?
We have 2 employees, and we have 2 interns that are paid through CareerLink for the service corps. So,
and lots of volunteers.
Well, we have a good amount of volunteers, but we are looking for more.
Okay.
Always.
There's never enough volunteers.
Never enough. No.
So how much, because what you just said is a huge not improvement, but a huge step from the center, and it really shows how much the center is growing. So can you mention in ways how much the center has grown in the last couple of years actually?
Oh wow. So the last few months have been just growing by leaps and bounds, but I remember the center was just an office. It was just a tiny little cubby hole. And then we moved into Nativity. So that was on the south side of Reading, like the industrial side. Then we moved up to the north side, Nativity Lutheran Church, still an office, but it was a bigger office, and it had like a open space, the common area. If anybody's been, they've seen it, where the library is. Then we opened up where the general offices were. Then we opened up where the art room currently is. And then we added on the Training and Technology Center. It wasn't the Training and Technology Center back then, but it's what we know it to be today. And then the counseling suite. And then finally, we have the pantry. So the pantry used to be in the art room. The general offices used to be the clothing closet. Everything is so different. And the changes just have been rapid. And I love it. It's amazing.
And you can see it even, well, if folks went, I don't know, well, not a year ago, but maybe a year and a half ago, and they were in, and if people see how it was and how it is now, it's been changing, and I think for the better. Always improving, because it looks cute. It looks really cute. So you mentioned the pantry. You mentioned the clothing. Should I mention like I don't know, the clothing closet. I think I should make that like that mention. There's not a closet in the center. No pun intended. But what can you talk about the services that are offered at the center?
Well, sure. Do you have some time? We have
a little time.
Wait, I have my coffee.
We'll just get something to scroll on the side while the service is going up. We have a lot. So there's community engagement. We have training, which I'm sure get into. Advocacy for policies, so hospital policies, school policies. We help individual organizations deal with those things. Legislative policies. We like to create safe spaces. We have free transportation, free counseling. We have access to clothing, not the closet. We've come out of the closet. We have a drop-in center Monday through Friday, 10 to 5. Food pantry, toiletry, pantry. So much. We have monetary help. We have a Rainbow Relief Fund for basic needs, and we're also working on building our scholarship base. We have support services. We have at least 10 support services, and we work on referrals. We have a lot of wonderful partner organizations that help us do the work that we do, and help us to keep everyone safe and well in the community.
Just to, because you mentioned you have free transportation, can you describe a little bit how does that work? Do I just go to the BARTA and I say take me to the LGBT Center, or is with I don't know, with taxis? How does that work?
Absolutely. So you could do that. BARTA will look at you weird, but Our deal is with Reading Metro Taxi. So if you were to call Reading Metro Taxi, you have free transportation to or from the center, where you'll just say, hey, I'm going to the LGBT Center. It's on their tab, and they'll take you for free. No questions asked.
And does that work only Reading or all Berks County?
Yeah, so it works pretty far and wide. If you need to get here for any services or for free Wi-Fi use or laptop use, you can do that. Yeah.
Wow, that's great. That's awesome. Ah, okay, that's amazing. I'm sorry, I'm fangirling. And you also mentioned support services. Does that means the groups or?
Yeah.
Okay. So can you talk about a little bit about? Well, you do have a bunch of groups, but can you mention which of the groups are most popular?
So we're doing really well with most of the groups. All of the groups are doing really well. One of them, for example, is even expanding. You'll see Voices. We're getting satellites, and in the fall, we're going to have to split it into 3 because of the age groups of kids and the amount of kids that are interested. So we do have a lot of people attending the groups, but Voices is notable, I would say.
And what does Voices stand for?
Vision, opportunity, inclusivity, community. I'm sorry, that's not in order.
Okay.
Education and support.
That's not
I think you did
putting you on
pretty
the
good.
spot.
You did pretty good. I think you spelled it right.
I did not.
You don't think so? Vision, opportunities, inclusivity, community, education, and support. That's how you said it.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm a professional. So.
Well done.
And Voices is pretty cool. They meet every Tuesday and Thursday, right?
Mm-hmm. 4:30 to 6:30.
From 3:30 to 6:30.
4:30.
Oh, 4:30. 4:30 to 6:30. That's where I got to be a facilitator a couple of times. Pretty cool group. So if you are a teen between the ages of
14 to 21.
14 to 21, considering attending Voices.
And are all your groups at this point in person? Or are there some things that are still happening virtually? Or is there a hybrid thing goes on?
Yeah, so most of our supports are back to being in person. We do offer a virtual option for most of the groups as well that are meeting on site. It just works better for anonymity and just for people who are not out and don't want to be seen on a Zoom with the center. So that's why it works for on-site. But we do offer those options for virtual, and I think a few of them are just virtual. That would probably be the Share the Pride group right now, and the Stand By Me.
Okay.
What are those? Say a little bit about those two groups.
Sure. So the Share the Pride is 18 to 49 support group, where we just come learn about ourselves, our identity, and just share our experiences over some coffee, some snacks, and just kind of a safe place to be yourself with other people. And Stand By Me is a multi-romantic group. So if you're identifies bisexual or pansexual, or anywhere in between, you can come and share your experiences and be around like-minded people.
Nice.
Awesome.
We won't ask you to talk about every group in detail because we don't have quite that much time. But it's just, I mean, it sounds like with 10 groups and the ones that you have already shared about, there's something for pretty much everybody.
in since there are so many different groups, could you tell us a story about someone whose life was impacted by the groups? Of course, you don't have to identify them in any way, but could you share that?
Well, anonymity is huge for us.
Hmm.
We really protect the identifiable information. My life has been impacted by these groups. Just seeing, and mostly with referrals, because people aren't generally ready to just say, "Hey, I need this."
Hmm.
Usually they come to the groups first and they're like, "I've been here a while and I'm comfortable speaking with you now. This is what I'm going through and I need help. I'm afraid to ask for help. I don't know where to go. I don't really know how to ask for help." And that's what we see a lot. I've seen it all. We've helped house people. We've helped youth get out of sex trafficking incidents, along with our partners. So it's been really impactful. And the support groups really give that platform for people to be comfortable to ask for help. And that's why it's so important for more people to be involved so that they know that this is available. This is for the community. We don't just help the LGBT community. We care about the community at large. So our allies are welcome to our services. We just want to help.
That's amazing. And it speaks about the importance of having these sort of resources in every community. So thank you for sharing that. And the fact that you started saying that you value and you protect people that come to the center. I think that's also valuable, because not because you're out of the closet that means that everything should be out for everyone, for grabs. They will take care of everything that you share with them, and they will do their best to to help you out, or to support you, whatever you need. So let's. You already mentioned a couple, the training center, but if it's okay that we can talk about it a little bit.
Absolutely. So when we talk about our training is an umbrella term. So we have two factions of that. We have the professional development, which is geared towards large businesses, organizations, to do it on a wider scale. And usually that involves contracts, and we use that to keep the lights on.
So there's fees involved and things like that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So that would be like the professional development arm. Our workshops are geared towards individuals and the community. So depending on the workshop and what's involved in it, there may be small fees, but it's on a sliding scale. But we're really looking to serve the community. So we are looking to be accessible to the community. So most times they will be free, but depending on what we're offering and what we're going to have, we will have a very small fee attached to those.
That's awesome.
And that's specifically for the trainings and workshops and things. But as far as all those other services that you mentioned before, the groups and the art room and the counseling and the pantry and all those things, that's all, what's the word?
Free.
Free.
Big old free, gratis, like.
Okay.
Counseling is free, and we're happy to have those services, and we don't like to charge people, but we have to find some way to Keep the lights on, as I said.
Keep the lights on, of course.
In the heat, keep the AC on. So
that said, if there's somebody out there watching that thinks it's wonderful that you have all these supports and they wish they had something in their life or some loved one's life, you take donations?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yes, we do. We have a dip jar here. You can come in, see that I'm not lying. You can check the space out during our drop-in center hours. I make a mean coffee. So coffee. I make iced coffee. Yeah, I know. So
sounds like I have to pay a visit to the LGBT Center. I haven't been there in a really long time.
And if the coffee is good, just leave a tip.
Yeah. Yeah. I have Bustelo, so I'm just saying. It's good.
So, Tasha, some of the trainings available are allyship that I know you. It was already offered during I think it was on a Sunday, right? A couple of Sundays ago. You also have created an inclusive work environment, LGBT history coming out later in life, which is kind of interesting. Binding and packing, and so many more that if we would be here for a while. But can you explain how? Can you give an example of how a training will go? Like, for example, the LGBT 101, for example, do people just go to a training, they sit down, and they just get bombarded with stuff, or is a little bit more dynamic?
Yeah, so I like to feel the group. A typical format would be introduction, expectations. I like people to know what they're going to leave with and what they're not going to learn. So they know what not to expect as well. Our goals, so they know what they're going to take away. I like to have food, and I like to share a laugh. So I usually get nervous. I'm not a great speaker. I get extremely nervous. So it helps me to have people laugh as well. So I like to set the mood, have a good atmosphere, and stress the importance of this being a safe space for you to ask questions. It is the proper place to ask questions. This is the place of education, so that it doesn't fall on to, well, I never asked that question. I don't know. I'm just going to continue living this way, not knowing. So it's very important, especially to those who are aspiring to be allies, to just be comfortable with asking questions. I'm very comfortable with getting uncomfortable. And that's how we have to have these difficult conversations and be courageous. So it's very important that I ensure, and my training team, I have a wonderful team that work with me to make sure that we have this atmosphere for everyone. So in terms of topics, we have a never-ending list, and it depends on the needs of the participants. We're not alone. We're not like this. We don't own all the knowledge in the world. We know that it takes a team and it takes a village, as Michelle says. And other people say that too, but that's where I get it from.
Michelle didn't come up with that. That's not a Michelle original.
No, sorry. But she does often say that, and it's true. We depend on our partners. We depend on our allies. We depend on our community to help us and to make knowledge accessible to everyone. Because that's how we learn. That's how we grow. And it's very important that we extend that to anyone who's willing to give workshops or help with certain topics. Because just LGBT is just at the intersection of so many different identities. So it's important to recognize that and celebrate it.
Absolutely. because I was at the in the opening of the training center. I attended, and you gave well, you were present, but you gave a lot of really good input, and it was very interesting. I can attest that it's very dynamic. Sometimes it can get like, okay, what is happening, because you're not, it might not be what you're expecting. I'm not saying that it's going to be too many things happening, but some the approach is kind of like, oh, okay, so now I need to confront my own ideas, my own perceptions. Sometimes that, for many people, that can be a little bit intimidating, but that's where what Tasha is saying. That's where the laughter comes. That's where the atmosphere, the goodies, the foodie, it comes in, and that day. And that was just a sample of the training, but a person felt comfortable enough to ask a question. And I if I'm not mistaken, they said, please don't think that I'm asking a question like, I don't want to hurt or anything like that, but that's the place to ask those questions. That's the place to learn. And it's pretty awesome that people feel that they came here to talk about something that can be delicate and that can be a little bit challenging or difficult, but they are allowed to ask those questions and to learn. So that's cool.
And in the process, I gather from what both of you are saying, in the process, people are allowed to be imperfect and grow through that. Is that the deal?
Yeah, absolutely. I tell, no matter what the topic is, give yourself some grace. Don't be so hard on yourself. This is you're taking the first steps.
Yeah.
You're not gonna gain all the knowledge in one day. It's a process. It's a lifelong process. I'm gonna continue to learn for forever. There's no end point to my journey, so it's a journey for everyone. And yeah.
So if people are interested in requesting a training, or just interested in trainings, what should they do? How can they make the request or ask for information?
Yeah, send a bat signal. Just kidding.
So if they want to reach out, they can just send an email and say, "Hey, Tasha, I saw you on Askable Adults Live. I'm interested in some trainings."
Yep, 10% off. Promo code
Oh,
Askable Adult.
nice.
Ron, use it. That's awesome. And thank you for all you do, Tasha. And I think we should be ending. But before that, last week we had a young, super amazing person that has has had their good share of the LGBT Center, and he mentioned a lot of things that are needed in the community. But how about you, Tasha? What do you think? What more is needed in this community, in your opinion?
Well, seeing as I'm a fan of the show, I did see that episode, and I agreed with him. And if you're watching, love you. I agree. What I'm hearing is sober spaces, not only for youth who are under 21, but that's accessible to those who cannot drink or choose not to. Just having a non-bar situation that you can have fun and be safe and network, because that's usually how we gather, is in bars. So having those spaces, healing workshops, grief counseling, life lessons, know your right lessons, workshops, trauma-informed friendship, strengthening our advocacy arm, a camp for identity, and housing, which I'm happy to say those are all of the things that you might see later on this year from the LGBT Center of Greater Reading.
That's awesome. So the center just keeps growing.
And hopefully we never stop until there's no more need.
Absolutely. I mean, you can always give a training about something. That's okay. You can be there forever.
We'll give makeup classes.
So, folks, if you are interested, Nadine, do you have anything else that you would like to bring?
This may be an unfair question. I may be putting you on the spot, but I've been thinking as I'm listening here today, if I was, say, 16 years old, give or take a couple years on either side, and I had a desire to come to the center, but I was like somewhat afraid, anxious, uncomfortable with the idea, what would you say to anybody out there that might be in those years and have a need and is hesitant to take the step?
You're not forced to join. You don't sign a contract with us. Come visit. Check it out. See if it fits for you. It may not fit for you, but I'm hoping it does. Find your tribe. A lot of the kids have tried it out, and that was what they did. They were sussing it out, and they ended up staying. So if you're afraid, just know that we're a safe space. We're anonymous. We have trained facilitators here that are professionals and are looking out for you and have your best interests in heart. So yeah, just check it out if you're not sure. And if you're not sure if you're a part of the community or not, that's fine too. The biggest thing is we're not taught the language that we need to identify ourselves. Neo-genders and neo-pronouns have existed for a very long time. And people are saying it's a new concept. It's not new. We just never shared that experience. So until we have places that are willing to give that training, give that knowledge, we won't have the words for what we know is there. And that's okay. So if you are a youth and you're trying on different hats, and one day you identify as this, the next day you identify as that, that's fine. That's normal. You don't have the language. Please come learn the language. We will want to share the language with you. And it's okay to try on those hats. You'll find you, and we want to be a part of that journey.
And you can just drop in from 10 to 5.
Yeah, just show up. Say, coffee.
And that's Monday through Friday. Sorry, Jonathan. Yeah. Just Monday through Friday, or?
Monday through Friday.
Okay.
And also, if you are a parent or an adult ally that want to support a teen in your life, consider also just giving a visit. Even if you're a little bit concerned, if you're afraid, you don't know what they're gonna find, take the step. Go and visit and talk and ask and hang out and ask for coffee, because it goes both ways. And if we really want to support them, we can take steps by doing it. And one of the things that you can do is just hang out at the LGBT Center and be where those teens will be. And maybe you will find support there for you. It's not only them, it's us too. So yeah, take that chance, go there, visit, and hopefully you will also visit us next week in our Askable live. Thank you so much, Tasha, for being here.
Yeah, thank you, Tasha.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Take care, okay? And we'll see you all next week.
Yes.